Judge, you ready?
Good afternoon, board members and college staff. The time is 5:35 on this, the 14th day of September 2021, and I call this meeting of the Laredo College Board of Trustees to order. Mr. Delgado, can you lead us in the prayer?
Yes, Madam Chair. As we are blessed with another day to be together, I kindly and respectfully ask that we pause for a moment of silence to reflect, to meditate, pray, or engage in other silent activity for those lives that were taken too soon in our local community and for those that have heroically served this great nation. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our college events, and for all of our faculty, our staff, and our students. We ask that you bless them abundantly as we continue to seek your wisdom, your guidance, your courage, and your strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions that we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and their confidence in our leadership. All glory be to you. Amen.
Amen.
Judge, the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mrs. Ramos, could you please call roll?
Thank you. Lupita Cepeda,
Present.
Jorge J.D. Delgado,
Present.
Jackie Levin Ramos present, Cynthia Mares,
Present.
Mercurio Martinez Jr.,
Present.
Dr. Henry Carranza,
Present.
Esteban Rangel, Karina Elizondo,
Absent.
Tita Cantuvela. Here. You have a quorum, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Ramos. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Do we have any public testimony? None? Thank you. The first item is we have discussion and possible action. Adoption of resolution approving Laredo College District Board nominees of candidates for the Webb County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Ms. Lupita Cepeda, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina. Dr. Tijerina.
Yes, Dr. Tijerina, interim president for the record. Just to notify the board, I received a letter from Mr. Martin Villarreal, our chief appraiser, asking us for the board to nominate a nominee to serve as the board of in the appraisal district director position. So I know that Ms. Jackie Levin Ramos was our nominee. And so I'll leave it up to the board to either continue Ms. Ramos or to open up for
Right.
new nominees. Yeah.
Ms.
Chair calls Ms. Ramos.
Ms. Cepeda, I'm finding a little bit of a conflict nowadays with my new duties in the school. So I would like to nominate Mr. J.D. Delgado to serve on the Webb County Appraisal Board starting January. But with the caveat that we still do not know if we will be selected as a representative for the appraisal board. We still have to wait until the other entities decide on the votes for their nominations, and then it should come in maybe October 15th, more or less. But our nominee, I make a motion to nominate Mr. Delgado for the appraisal board.
Okay.
I'll second
Chair
that.
recognizes, I'm sorry?
I'll second that. She made a motion, right?
I made a
She
motion.
made a motion.
I'm sorry.
A
I'll
second?
second
I will second that motion.
Second by Ms. Mares and second by Judge
Yes.
Martinez. Any discussion?
We should just ask him.
Oh, yes. We have to ask him, Mr. Delgado.
We asked Mr.
Chair
Delgado if he's
recognizes-
willing to- Are
Chair
you willing
recognizes
to
Mr. Martin-
accept
Judge
that
Martinez.
nomination?
Thank you, Judge. Yes, I respectfully and honored to accept that nomination. And thank you, Ms. Ramos and Ms.
You're
Maris and the rest of my colleagues for for not only the confidence, but the will to lead on this level. So thank you.
Is all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr.
Congratulations.
Delgado, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Judge.
Chair recognizes Mr. Judge Martinez. Did you want to say something, Judge?
No,
Okay.
that was it. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
The next item is 4B, discussion pertaining to Texas Governor's lifting of Open Meetings Act suspension order. Mr. Rusty Muir?
Yes, sir. Madam President, board members, Rusty Muir, Laredo College attorney. The order that was issued by Governor Abbott last year that suspended part of the Open Meetings Act provisions that allowed us to meet by Zoom, essentially, it has now been revoked. So all of the Open Meetings Act provisions that apply to community college boards and other governmental entities, for that matter, are now in full force and effect. I think that's important to bring to the board's attention. I spoke about it in some detail with Dr. Tijerina and what the effects of that are. So basically, in summary, the board is not able to meet by video conference anymore unless there is a quorum present physically here at this location. So you could have a board member joined by video conference as long as you have a quorum present here. Now, I know there's a prior order that the board had issued indicating that there wouldn't be Zoom conferences in the past. So that's something separate. You'd have to, that could be a local rule that you keep, and then you just don't do video conferences. But I know what was common before COVID hit and before the governor suspended sections of the Open Meetings Act, and I guess common's not the best word, but occasionally a board member would join a meeting by phone. So we could go back to doing that. But you still have to have a quorum of the board present physically at the location where the meeting is taking place in order to allow that.
Madam Chair?
Chair recognizes Judge Martinez.
I do have a question, Counselor.
Yes, sir.
With the, let's say a member of the board is either by phone or by Zoom, the fact that they have to, based on the governor's order, does that, if he or she were to vote, does it count or it does not?
It's a very good question, Judge. It does count. The votes do count.
By Zoom or by phone?
By Zoom or by phone. But there are a couple of caveats you'd have to add. So by Zoom, you have to be present so that you can be seen and so that you could hear what's going on in the meeting and the people could hear you. And if that's not happening, you're not present at the meeting, and let's say you vote off screen, that's vote will not count.
So basically then by phone, the vote does not count?
By phone, the vote does count. Now,
But he cannot be seen by phone.
but that's, okay, so if you do it by video conference, yeah, so there's they're under the Open Meetings Act, a board member can participate by video conference, and separately, a board member can also participate by phone. So if a board member participates by phone, and not using Zoom, just a telephone call, again, there has to be a quorum present here in the board. The vote will count, and then the board member can participate. However, there has to be at all times a clear line of communication so the board can hear the person who's on the telephone and vice versa. And the public can hear, the individual by phone can hear what the board is deliberating. Now, the other problem, this is a drawback also for board members that do participate by phone, is that you're counted as absent. You can participate, you can vote, but you're absent for purposes of a section of the Higher Education Code that says you can be removed from office if you don't attend at least half of the regularly scheduled board meetings. So, for example, if you had a board member, just think about this, you can get into trouble on this. If you have a board member that attends physically 5 out of 12 board meetings in person, and then 2 by phone. That gets you to 7, but you don't count 6 and 7, and you're subject to removal. You don't count it because you participated by phone.
But yet his vote, his or her vote does count,
That's right.
in spite of.
That's right.
Does not make sense, frankly.
Yeah, that's.
The
I mean,
chair
Yeah,
recognizes
and
Dr.
the
Carranza.
quorum has
Oh.
to be here, so you have to
I
have a
understand,
quorum.
I understand.
Chair recognizes Dr.
In
Carranza.
other words, there's a quorum present in addition to the person that is either by Zoom or by phone.
Right.
And either by Zoom or by phone, it is considered absent, but yet the vote does count. Does not make sense.
Yeah, it's considered, yeah, and I'll tell you, it's just a turn on language. If you read the Open Meetings Act, okay, the Open Meetings Act itself, not the Higher Education Code, they're
Right.
kind of 2 different areas. The Open Meetings Act is very specific. It says that you are counted absent for purposes of section 130.08 something, I can't remember the last, of the Higher Education Code, which is a very short statute. That statute says if you don't attend at least half of the regular board meetings in a given year, you're subject to being removed from office. So it's only absent, you're considered absent only for that purpose. Only for that purpose, yeah.
Dr. Carranza.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I forgot the question. Number one, it was said on the memo that was sent out to us, the Open Act, that even if you're on the phone or wherever, on Zoom, the vote doesn't count. But now you're saying it does. We have a quorum here.
I didn't see that communication. I don't know if that's what was
No,
said.
but let me finish.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know that you're going to go on another tangent, but I want to go on with this one.
Yes, sir.
That vote, anyway, if we have 4 trustees and 1 on the phone, it's still,
There's no quorum.
You can't have a meeting.
you cannot carry that.
You can't carry that meeting.
Okay, so that's clear.
That's clear. sir.
Okay, that's.
You must have 5 here.
We have to be 5.
I know, but I just wanted to.
Yeah.
We can move on, Mr. President.
Okay.
How was the
Yeah?
last one?
Okay. Mr. Muir, just to clarify, so if we have a quorum, let's say we have 5
That's
board
right.
members here,
Yes.
and we're going through the meeting, and 1 steps out and leaves, do I lose quorum even though I might have 1 in Zoom and 1 on the telephone?
Yeah, the Open Meetings Act doesn't address that specifically. My interpretation is you lose quorum.
Yes.
And you lose your meeting. You're not having a meeting.
We have had that experience,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah. Because you don't have 5 present
Yes.
here.
Right, so they have to be
They
present.
have to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 or more, but at least 5.
Especially of a vote.
Present.
But the vote
Present.
still counts if you're on the phone.
If we have the 5 here.
If you have the 5
If
here,
we have
Yeah.
5
Yes.
here, yes.
that's right.
It's very confusing.
It's a little
I mean,
confusing.
it's
Okay.
It's,
Any-
add another piece of confusion, if you all let me.
No, that's enough.
Confusing.
So
Yeah.
please
We
let
don't
me,
wanna be
because that's what I like to
confused
do. No. This section of the Open Meetings Act that allows a community college trustee to appear and participate in a meeting by phone, that only applies to community colleges. There's another section that applies to more governmental agencies that allows you to participate by phone, but you have to have an emergency, and there's other requirements, and they're difficult to, and there's a pressing need, and so it's an interesting carve out that the Open Meetings Act created for community college entities.
Thank you.
I think that's the thrust of it, really, unless anybody else has other questions.
Any other questions?
I just have
Chair recognizes Mrs. Ramos.
May we continue to keep our previous item that we passed a couple of, like about a month ago, saying that we're not doing any Zoom meetings?
You can,
Okay, so we can continue with that.
you can.
I just want to make
That's
sure
your
we
local
clarify
rule.
that.
That's a local
Yes.
rule for you.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Dr. Tijerina.
Marisela Tijerina for the record. And that is true if y'all want to keep it, but Rusty and I, we wanted to communicate that now with this uplifting, if you participate in Zoom, you're count present at the meeting. If you participate through phone, you'll be counted as absent. So it's really you all's preference, what you intend to do, but we wanted to communicate the difference between the Zoom and the phone. Both, you're able to participate and vote. However, the present versus the absent is what makes a difference from Zoom to telephone.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mrs. Vela.
That's interesting, because it counts, your presence counts on Zoom. I guess because they see you,
We can see
you
you.
know,
Mhm.
versus on the phone, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, it's over here.
He's coming. He's coming.
It's
It's a
on.
weird.
It's
it
on.
really-
Thank you very much.
It's on. It's my mask.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't have to vote on this, right? It's just
That's
discussion.
interesting.
We don't have to vote on this, right? It's just discussion?
No, it's just informal.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Anything else? Okay, I'm going to move to the next item. And the next items are executive session, and it's 5A, closed session consultation with the college district attorney concerning retaining special legal counsel for pending Title IX complaints pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. 5B is closed session discussion concerning former college president's exit process pursuant Texas Government Code Section 551.074 and 551.071. So at this time, I'm going to call the executive session at this time.
So
So
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ramos, and I have a second by Mr. Delgado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I also would like to recognize Mr. Rangel. Is in attendance. So the time is now 5:51, and the board will adjourn into executive session pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 for the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda items 5A and 5B. Thank you. It is 6:54. We reconvened from closed session, and the board took no action in executive session. Will take appropriate action on items, if necessary, as discussed in closed session. Next item, discussion of possible action 6A, retain special legal counsel for pending Title IX complaints.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the special counsel.
Second?
So I have a motion by Judge Martinez, and I have a second by Dr. Carranza. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Nothing heard? Motion passes. 6B is conclusion of exit process of former college president. The next item?
Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to move that we go ahead and instruct our interim president to move forward with the conclusion of the exit process as was discussed in executive session.
second.
I have a motion by Ms. Mares, and I have a second by Mrs. Ramos. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is Next meeting date is Thursday, September the 30th at 6 p.m., regular Board of Trustees meeting. Do I have a motion for
So moved.
adjournment?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Delgado and a second by Dr. Carranza. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Week.
Esteban.
Break.